So you've got $100 and you want to invest in some Pokemon cards? Well, it does beg the question, what are the 7 best cards to invest in right now, which you can take full advantage of? Now, yes, you may notice that I have an Australian accent, but we are talking in 100 USD today. Now, the reason for this is because I can actually see in the back end of my analytics that some of you live in US, to Canada, Germany, Norway, Switzerland. We got some people in New Zealand, and of course, a lot of you from my hometown, Australia. However, USD is the easiest currency to be the base point for everyone watching, so we're going with that. Now, no matter what people say, investing in Pokemon cards is incredibly enjoyable and they do add some flavor to investments. Yes, we all know cryptos, shares, and stocks are your intelligent investment decisions, but as I always say in my videos, specific knowledge triumphs everything, and when it comes to collectibles, specific knowledge is the key to successful investing. And I will explore more about the special traits of specific knowledge when it comes to investing in collectibles at a later stage in this video. However, today we are gifting 2 different singles to 2 lucky subscribers. We have a Metagross illustration rare and a gold Charizard from Obsidian Flames. In order to be selected for one of these, please ensure that you are subscribed to the channel and let me know in the comments what card you believe is underrated at the moment. 2 subscribers will be selected and I'm going to let you know which one of the cards you have won. Now, these gifts are all possible thanks to my video production and marketing business, Dream Drop Studio. We have over 6 years of experience in the field of digital marketing and video production, and we've worked with some significant brands and universities across Australia. If you are inspired by the quality of this channel's content and you want to start your own YouTube channel, we have created a course tailored just for you, which goes deep into the art of applying storytelling principles within your YouTube videos. This course puts you in the right position for you to earn a supplementary income from YouTube. And thankfully, all channel viewers get access to an exclusive 15% discount code, which can be found in the description. Now, on to the top 7 cards, which make for some incredible growth potential that you can snipe right now for under 100 USD. So starting at number 7, it is the Obsidian Flames Charizard. Now, when dealing with Charizard, you need to be strategic. Number 1, it is the most loved Pokemon of all time. And number 2, Charizard has consistently shown to win even when all odds are against it. So investing in Charizard products is oddly safe. And I kind of wish that it wasn't, and I sometimes wish Charizard cards would just flop and the community would move on, but they don't. There's something specific about Charizard cards that pull millions of collectors in, and they are just the safe product. Obsidian Flame Zard offers a super unique artwork and one that really draws the eye. If you've seen this card in person, you would be incredibly impressed. The terastallized card's artwork really pops and it feels super heroic. The card almost feels like the crystals are bursting outside of the card. Pokemon did a phenomenal job with this card's artwork, and it is the chase card for Obsidian Flames. Now, Obsidian Flames is a slightly forgotten about set, but having Charizard as the chase is always gonna make it have demand. I suppose that the Obsidian Flames booster box is the equivalent of Darkness Ablaze for the Sword and Shield era, even though the key difference is this Charizard card, which is a real winner. Definitely look at getting a nice mint, well-scented copy and keep this one in great condition. Moving on to number 6, it is the gorgeous Celebi V Alt from Fusion Strike. So I made a video a while back talking about the most undervalued Pokemon cards at the moment, and this Celebi was my top pick. And now, when I made this video, this card was actually valued at under $30, and it's had a slight climb up since then, but still, I actually don't think this card is anywhere near where it actually should be. This is a phenomenal card. Now, this card has never even made sense to me for how low it got, because during the Sword and Shield era, this card was always within the shadows. It literally never made a peep. And what's weird about this, it was actually one of the cheapest V Alt Arts you could find. Now, what never made sense to me was this card's artwork was actually phenomenal and it was incredibly difficult to pull. I still have no idea why it never went up in value with the other V cards. Now, it has seen some climb up, but this card still fits all the right categories for being a super successful investment. It includes all the right things. It's an ace Pokemon. It's a mythical Pokemon and it has a very unique artwork artwork and its pull rate is under 1%. I really rate Celebi V and I think it's still very reasonably priced and it still has huge room for growth given the right circumstances. Now, number 5 on the list, it is one of my favorite cards from Scarlet and Violet and it is Iron Crown EX. Now, Iron Crown had a very strange thing happen. It literally smashed out of the gates and rose crazily in value. No one could catch it. It actually doubled overnight. And honestly, rightfully so. Look at this card's artwork. The moon, the faded pinks, the yellow and blues, it just works incredibly well, along with Iron Crown's stance in the composition of the card artwork. It is a true standout for the Scarlet and Violet era. Though while this card is now coming down in value slightly, there will be a time where it catapults in the opposite direction. And I don't believe in timing the bottom. I don't actually view that as a strategy. However, I do think that this card has some enormous growth potential for the future. I prefer buying cards when you think the time is right. And while this card could keep going down, it does have social proof that it has risen in value and once was a $95 card. And there's no reason why it can't go back to beyond that level. This card right now is in a downwards phase, though it may not last forever. Not only that, but this card is looking like it's going to be one of the highlights of Gen 9. And while we are still in early days, we may see some interesting shifts happen. So definitely keep a lookout for this card. Now, moving on to number 4, it is the Japanese Mew from the Japanese 151. This is one of the better artworks we have ever seen from the Scarlet and Violet era. And not only that, it is an iconic mythical Pokemon which is loved by so many fans. Now, with the 151 reprint, Pokemon 151 would be being ripped open at an accelerated rate, and these copies would be flooding the market right now. It actually may be a good time to take advantage of the current time of singles entering. This Mew is one of the best artworks from 151, and unlike the English version, it is not guaranteed, meaning it is one of the harder cards to pull within the set. And part of me is actually slightly disappointed that this was such an easy card for the English set, as I really think this would have been one of the most expensive English cards if it wasn't gifted in the Ultra Premium collection. However, nonetheless, this card's growth trajectory is very strong considering the pull rates in the Japanese version. This is an opportune time to take advantage of the 151 reprint, which made booster boxes drop down to as low as 65 USD, which was close to unbelievable for many of us. We would be seeing a lot of these boxes being ripped open right now. So this is definitely one to look out for, seeing as it is Mew and it is a hard card to pull and it could rise quite high. Now, moving on to number 3, it is the Evolving Skies V Eeveelutions, but we're talking particularly about Glaceon, Sylveon, and Leafeon. Now, Evolving Skies is having the time of its life, and there are only a few cards left in the wild that haven't exploded. Now, most people's eyes have been on the winners of the set, and this includes your Moonbryon VMAX and your Rayquaza. And even though the V Eeveelutions are being underlooked, they are really great to grab right now. Currently, you have Leafeon, Glaceon, and Sylveon, and they are all available under $100, and these could really experience some steady growth. The reason why is because history usually repeats itself, guys. And what I mean by that is that collectors usually have their second options in the market. For a lot of people, forking out $300 for a Leafeon VMAX is completely out of the question. However, purchasing one Glaceon V, one Leafeon V, and one Sylveon V for the same price of another card makes sense. Why wouldn't you get 3 for the price of 1? So a lot of collectors choose the more budget-friendly options as people love adding volume to their collections. So these V Evolutions have a real solid place in the market for people wanting to add to their collections. Not only that, but Eeveelutions have such strong growth and have always been a staple in the series. They are almost as safe as Charizard. Now, these 3 are currently all under $100, but that can change pretty quickly. So definitely keep an eye out for these incredible alt arts. Now, moving on to number 2, it is the Aerodactyl V from Lost Origin. Aerodactyl, take a bow. This card is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. As if Lost Origin didn't already have an absolutely amazing chase card with Giratina V, but this card here just pops. The colors are gorgeous and the artwork is really immersive. Now, what's so interesting about this card artwork is how they've actually shown Aerodactyl. When we think of Aerodactyl, we usually associate Aerodactyl being in some sort of dark, barren cave or some sort of barren wasteland. But you know, this card really juxtaposes Aerodactyl's barren, fossilized feel with a vibrant environment. It's actually a perfect blend of opposites, as Aerodactyl does not feel like the type of Pokemon who would be soaring across a beautiful landscape. However, you cannot deny that it works perfectly. This is an iconic Sword and Shield card, and one that is still available for under $100, and it is most certainly worth to have in a collection. For sure, if you're looking to fill a binder with some cards that have growth potential, no one can deny this Aerodactyl V. I mean, that's the thing when it comes to the Sword and Shield era. We are working with some absolutely sensational artworks, and these are hard to top. This Aerodactyl really made some noise within the TCG, and rightfully so. It's a sensational artwork. Now, for the number one spot, it goes to Blastoise and Venusaur Special Illustration Rares from 151. Now, as always, Charizard is always the main winner in the race of the original starter trio, and that's just usually the case. It's actually very rare for Blastoise or Venusaur to outperform a Charizard. In nearly every circumstance, Charizard will always win, and in Pokemon 151 it does, and that's really no surprise. However, 151 was a set with difficult pull rates, and both of these are priced at quite a reasonable rate, and they definitely have growth potential. The reason these two are such standouts is because of the unique artwork associated with them. In today's collecting landscape, it's important for cards to have unique artworks, and when there's a super unique artwork, it ties the card to a specific era. Now, what I really love about these is the art direction they took with them. Blastoise is placed underwater, which is actually a very unique perspective for Blastoise. In fact, we usually associate Blastoise with the Hydro Cannons and in an attacking position. So this card feels as if it's an aquatic creature getting ready to dive down in an ocean, which is actually a really unique twist on such an established Pokemon. Venusaur, on the other hand, is seen lying in a bed of flowers, and it has a very relaxed approach, which is also a completely different perspective, as Venusaur is usually seen more as a ferocious kind of Pokemon. You know, I was speaking about specific knowledge at an earlier stage in this video, and understanding the impact of Generation 1 is important for a Pokemon collector and investor. You see, Generation 1 is one of the highlights for Pokemon, and it's literally the powerhouse behind all of Pokemon's marketing. Most people know of Generation 1 Pokemon, and Pokemon use this to their advantage. That's why 151 is such a powerful set for Pokemon, as it uses their strongest selling point and it's packaged beautifully within a set. The unique perspective of Venusaur and Blastoise really do wonders. So, you know, these artworks are really great examples of Pokemon pushing the boundaries with their Pokemon, which is actually quite interesting, as Pokemon rarely take risks with their established Pokemon. I think the charm of Pokemon 151 has been the way that they experimented with so many different Pokemon in a way that they haven't before. You know, it's actually something we need to see more of, and I do wonder what other Pokemon deserve this kind of treatment. I'd love to see more of these creative artworks displayed, as I really believe Pokemon is in a very unique position at the moment with their art direction. And you know, there's actually a ton of other artworks where Pokemon has really pushed the boundaries on, and I explore the top 10 best Pokemon artworks in this video right here. I look over the Sword and Shield era, and I dive deep into the artistic approach of cards. If you are a huge fan of Pokemon cards, I recommend you click on that video and check it out, and you can see the best Pokemon artworks from Generation 8. I'll see you there.